Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Ladies, imagine what it would be like if your doctor sat you down and said, you have breast cancer. Thousands of people are diagnosed every day and are faced with the fight of their lives. People like Sonia Marie. Sonia Marie is a survivor who battled breast cancer while she was pregnant. We'll also meet this hometown hero who's joining us, Kay Decker, a nurse and breast care coordinator at Winsong Breast Center, to update us on what's happening this October, designated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, with an event that will bring our hometown together in the fight against this disease. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Sonia Marie Bratton,
yes,
and Kay Decker.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure to have you both here.
It's a pleasure being here.
And you're here from two very different points of view. Nia, you of course are a survivor, and Kay, you are a caregiver. And I think maybe why don't we start with Nia? Tell us your story.
Well, when I got pregnant, I was in North Carolina and I got deathly ill. And we couldn't figure out what was going on with me. I lost 20 pounds my first 2 months pregnant. I was throwing up around the clock. You know, my colon shut down. There was just so many things going on. So I relocated back to Western New York, where I grew up, because this is the best place to get testing if you're sick. So after doing several different scans and going through a lot of different doctors and specialists, they finally figured out that the lactation that I was having from my breast was caused by abnormalities inside my breast, of course. So they did sonograms and they did mammograms, and they ended up doing a couple biopsies, and it came back positive for invasive ductal carcinoma stage 2B. And it shut my entire life down after that point. At that point, I was 24 weeks pregnant, and I had no idea what was the next step. But everything happened so fast. It really took me through a lot of different emotions. Mm-hmm. And I had to make the best decision, and we started chemo a month after I was diagnosed.
Wow, while you were pregnant?
Yes. I went through all of the pregnancy symptoms and the chemo symptoms, so I got a double whammy. Soon after, they induced me, and I gave birth to Ava, and she is healthy as she just wants to be and thriving. Right after I gave birth to her, then we started chemo for about 6 months after that. I had a double mastectomy, and I've been cancer-free for a year now.
Oh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Miss Sonia Marie, what a story. And your daughter's such a blessing.
Thank you.
That's really tough to hear. That's
very tough.
You know, the kind of story that makes you take pause and kind of almost hold your breath. How old were you, Sonia Marie, when you were diagnosed?
I was 27.
That's so young. Kay, you know, how prevalent are we seeing breast cancer showing up in young women?
It is happening more and more. It's a rarity, but it does happen. And at Winsong Breast Care, we were the first nationally accredited breast program in Western New York. And
what does that mean, to be a nationally accredited breast program?
It's a very stringent process that you go through to become accredited. Mm-hmm. There's multiple steps to it. It's a very strict survey process. So to become nationally accredited in Western New York, the very first breast center, that's quite an honor. Mm-hmm. And thank God, you know, we had that breast center, because it really provided great care and services to Sonia Marie, who inspires me.
So describe to us a little bit the care and services that are available through your center.
Okay. It's a collaboration between Winsong Radiology Group, mm-hmm, and CCS Oncology, where Winsong Radiology provides the imaging, CCS Oncology provides the medical oncology, radiation oncology, and then Winsong has 2 breast surgeons, Dr. O'Donnell and Dr. Pizer, who provide the surgical care to the patients.
So there are more choices here in Western New York if you are diagnosed with breast cancer, then the general public may be familiar with. I think we're all very familiar with Roswell, you know, as a cancer center. I know I had no idea that Winsong offered services that were for women once they were diagnosed.
Yes.
That's really important to know, and what an honor that it is a nationally accredited place to receive these services.
Right. We have a lot of community partners as well. We really look at the entire patient, the survivor. We are committed to that. We have nutritionists that provide the right suggestions and guidelines for what to eat when you're undergoing cancer treatment. We have counseling services, physical therapy services, and we work with great partners like the American Cancer Society. And that's really what we're here to talk about today too.
So really it's a whole patient care program. What you're describing isn't a program where you're just going in, addressing what's happening with the cancer in the area of the body with the cancer, but looking at the patient as a whole.
It is. It's a comprehensive picture of that patient. And every Monday we have group multidisciplinary meetings where we will review patients with all of the specialties and come up with the best possible treatment plan for those patients.
And I'm sure that the treatment plan is individualized to each patient.
It is.
Nia, what suggestions, what advice do you have for women that, that we should do to really stay on top of our health?
Well, definitely go to your annual checkups. If you have any inkling that something may be wrong, address it. And if you don't feel comfortable with what is being told to you, go to another doctor, get a second opinion. You know, any doctor who tells you that you don't need one, it might not be the best bet for you.
And it's so easy to forget about an annual checkup and everything that an annual checkup includes.
Exactly.
And I know that recently there was a lot of kind of controversy hitting the news, and I'm sure you have an opinion of this that's different than opinions that have been put out there, that women don't necessarily need mammograms as often or as young as it had been previously suggested. So I am guessing, Nia Marie, that you would disagree with that.
I would, well, certainly disagree with that. When I was 25 years old, 2 years before I got diagnosed, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was lactating blood. And I went to the emergency room, and they told me I was too young. They didn't do a mammogram, and they didn't do a sonogram. Now, had they have done what they were supposed to do that time, the first sign of breast cancer, I probably wouldn't have gotten diagnosed. They probably would have been able to do a lumpectomy, and I probably wouldn't have lost both of my breasts to it.
Wow.
So I think that it'd be a best bet if we started doing mammograms for women a lot younger, especially if they have a history of breast cancer, whether it be maternally or paternally.
And is there a history of breast cancer in your family?
On both sides.
Wow. So you were 25 years old, and I think that at 25 years old, it's a lot for a young woman to look at the doctor in the ER and say, no, I need these tests. Because I think that, you know, we're really taught to trust what the doctor tells us.
Yes.
And so I'm not at all surprised to hear you say that when the doctors told you those were unnecessary steps, that you took their word for it and you simply, you know, you moved on with where you were in your life. Yeah. Wow.
I think it's really important to listen to your body and to speak with your primary care physician or your OBGYN. You know, if you still have that nagging doubt, go back and make sure that you get the imaging and services that you need.
Yes. And what ages are the Winsong group recommending for mammograms to begin?
40.
At 40.
Yeah.
Now I also have been told and have read that yes, mammograms, you know, have their place and they do their job, but beyond that, that sometimes diagnostically a sonogram can find breast cancer more quickly, more readily than a sonogram. Is that true?
It's not uncommon when you go in and you have your screening mammogram, if they found something that doesn't look quite right, to then follow that up with an ultrasound. So
you wouldn't find that an ultrasound is something you start with, that certainly it's the mammogram comes first.
You start with the mammogram first.
And then from there, if necessary, go to the sonogram.
Right, and then there are individuals that fall into that high risk category We also provide genetic counseling through the breast center as well.
What does that mean? What is genetic counseling?
Genetic counseling can take an individual's family history and look at if there's key indicators. It usually starts with anywhere from 5 to 10 questions, and they try to get a family background and determine whether or not there is cancer in that person's history. Based upon that, there will be a determination whether you might fall into that high-risk category and whether you should go talk to a genetic counselor and then possibly seek testing for that.
So really, there's probably more available to us than we even realize as women with issues that are really solely, predominantly women's issues.
Right.
Kay, set the scene for us for Making Strides.
Making Strides. Making Strides event is sponsored by the American Cancer Society and is happening on October 15th. The registration starts at 8:30 in the morning. They are this year having a 5K run that will happen at 9 o'clock. And they are also having a walk, which we are participating in.
So if you can't run, it's okay.
It's okay to walk.
Yeah, you can walk.
Yes.
Is the walk 5K as well?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. All right.
Winsong Breast Care is a proud sponsor of the Survivor Tent, and we will be there bright and early in the morning.
And where will you be?
It's at Canal Side this year.
Canal Side, so it's a beautiful setting.
It is.
It is.
And the people, the folks, the men, women, and I'm sure you have children there too during
Yes.
doing the run and the walk. Are they sponsored? How are the funds raised?
Okay. Winsong Breast Care actually does a whole year of internal fundraising with our staff. We have a bunch of different activities, and we just donated $4,000 based upon all that fundraising that the staff did. We also sponsored the breast survivor tent. That was $5,000, and individually there's a number of us that have signed up. We actually have the largest team so far. We're beating many local organizations and have raised over $10,000
Wow.
in total.
That's
Definitely.
fantastic.
Yes.
So
That is
anybody that wants
fantastic.
to support Making Strides and do so and join the Winsong Breast Care team can do so by going to makingstrideswalk.org/Winsong Breast Care.
And what is the financial goal that you're looking to raise for the American Cancer Society this year?
We would love to raise $15,000.
Well, you're close to that, aren't you?
We're getting there.
We are.
Wow, congratulations, that's outstanding.
Thank you.
Really an amazing story, Sonia Marie, that, here you are, a healthy young woman with a healthy, beautiful baby.
Yes.
And how wonderful that you knew coming home to Western New York was the place to be for the care you needed. Good
Yes.
move, Miss Sonia Marie.
Thank
Good
you.
move. And Kay, places like Winsong, you're the reason people like Sonia Marie come home to Western New York to get the care that they know they deserve. So
Yes.
thank you both for being here. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having
And
us.
thank you for the Winsong group, because you know what? You're here to hold up the women in our community.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your stories. And remember, if you want to take part in Making Strides, go to their website, makingstrides.acsevents.org. And we'll see you Saturday, October 15th at Canal Side in Buffalo.